Coming up today on Locked On Texas Tech, synchronicity, alignment, stability for the good guys in the LBK, fluidity for our foes. These are a few of our favorite things.
You are Locked On Texas Tech, your daily podcast on the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Great to be with you again on Locked On Texas Tech on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day, always free and available on YouTube or anywhere you get podcasts. Now the number one sports podcast network in the world. With the only Chris Level, I'm Casey Cowan. Thanks as always for making us your first listen. And on today's episode, we begin to look ahead. We'll discuss upcoming this weekend. Of course, one particular game we've got eyes on among some others in the college football playoff, but we'll talk a little bit about what's shaking with the Ducks, and there'll be a theme running through this episode of sorts, Chris, because we're going to talk about some fluidity to the Oregon staff and coordinators who are set to head elsewhere once it all comes to an end via the Red Raiders in Miami. Whoops, Freudian slip. You get the point. We'll get to that coming up in just a moment. And that may be news to you, actually, if you're some of those sleeping on us. There's such a group. I want to ask you about that as well as we look ahead to some projections on the other side of the first round. But want to start back at the home base because we are not talking fluidity. We are talking stability as the brain trust has been locked in. Not always easy to do when you're having success, Chris. So it's kind of a fine line you want to be walking because you want others looking at your guys as candidates and things like that whenever you're making an impact in the win column. But you've probably seen the news by now as it relates to not only your head coach, but guys like Mac Leftwich, Sheil Wood, Kenny Perry, James Blanchard as well. New agreements, new deals to keep them happy and healthy in the LBK. So wanted to celebrate that, certainly, as we've touched on. Not a great shocker from some of those perspectives. Some names we've discussed, Chris, already, but feels good, man, every time to be keeping a band like this together for a little longer.
Especially when they play good music.
Correct.
Yes.
Play the hits, boys. Play the hits.
I got to tell you, I like the first album, if you know what I mean. Yeah, it was great. Like, get back into the studio. Let's do it again. But still, we hadn't rolled out all the final tracks just yet.
That's right.
Still more work to be done. So Joey had said, I think one of the first comments that he had made when it became public about his new contract, and I think they wanted to wait until after the Big 12 title game to kind of announce that. But I think there was I don't know how this came to be or who decided to push the button or whatever, but it came out the week of the Big 12 title game. It coincidentally, it was right before signing day. Don't know if somebody was out there trying to use that against you. And then since it's like you've already had it done, might as well just let everybody know it. I think Joey was not wanting to create some sort of distraction, but also, he's got the eye on the next crop of recruits coming in, want to make sure that they know who they're going to be playing for and all those kinds of things. But whenever he commented about this publicly for the first time, he indicated that it had been being worked on for a while. I think you can go back into October. And I think trying to Joey's main component, I think, was, which we have said on here repeatedly, who am I doing life with? I'm not going to battle here, no matter how much money you give me, if I can't do it with the people and we don't have the right kind of resources around all that stuff. So I think that now everybody is now aware that. And it wasn't just because I think people, it's automatically like you jump to the conclusion on coordinators, because everybody's asked about Sheil or Mac in recent weeks and all that. Like, are we going to lose them? Are we going to do this? And again, I've said, and we'll continue to say, if somebody wants to talk to one of those guys about like a head job, and it is of interest to them, that's where the conversation could change. But nobody was leaving here for a bad head job or leaving here to go be, in a lateral move or anything like that. We had joked aloud that we were talking about the Sorsby stuff in Cincinnati and couldn't afford this and that, and how behind you had been in maybe coordinator salaries for many, many years, and now you're caught up. I think you're in the game, if you will. You're not paying your coordinators like the highest, but you're in the fight for sure. These are, both contracts, I think multi-year between $1.5 million and $2 million, with some things in there that can kind of increase it depending on what you do. But hard to find anything really wrong with what your two guys did this year. Geez, but this is a sign that, boy, you're really cooking now when you start adding years to Kenny Perry and Joey's best friend. And I mean, Kenny doesn't get enough credit for how good of a special teams coach he is. I think this has been some of the best special teams you've had at Texas Tech in the last 2 to 3 years. They haven't been perfect, but they are aggressive. They are good in the return game. They have good specialists. It just kind of is a well-rounded group that I think nobody's beating you on special teams in these games. At the worst, it's a clean, like, okay, that's a tie, if that makes sense. But I think Kenny being around here is important for comedy relief, if anything. But I mean, I think he keeps Joey sane. I think that they play off of each other extremely well. And then Blanche, I think we know what Notre Dame and USC have been. They've tried to, and with all the hype and you knew somebody was going to try to come after Blanche again. Like, I want to know what they're doing. Let me go see if we can't get in the middle of that deal and like just throw a bag and like let's see if we can't, But he's now locked up for several more years, and so this was because there's just nothing like continuity and alignment. It just, you can't beat it, especially when it's going well. And now it's just up to the collective group to not screw it up, because what they have going right now is working. And as long as egos don't come into play or, whatever else, I just think that the scheme, the motivation, the X's and O, and then the ability to evaluate, it's largely all there. And it's going to be there. I don't know if we're talking this group can stay together for another year or 3, but, for the foreseeable future, you are in a really good spot, and you're very fortunate compared to others out there, namely your potential opponent in the Orange Bowl.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about what's going on with the Ducks, no doubt. And I just wanted to say on our guys, I find it kind of curious and sort of revealing, I guess, of the era that we're in, that when we would be asked so often in recent weeks about coordinator agreements, I would find myself more so wondering about where's the question for James Blanchard and you're a personnel office, because that weighs as heavily as just about anything else among a football staff these days. And you've felt like you're in great hands there. And certainly from both sides of the ball's production this year, you feel like you're in good hands all the way around. And for the reasons, you described there for Kenny Perry, it's happy to have a band remaining together and happily remaining together. So here's to a whole lot more wins. As for the next one that you're going to be after, I could do some speculating and assuming within this conversation, Chris, that the Ducks could get a first round win, with all due respect, of course, to James Madison. But for the sake of it, I'm considering what it might look like within a Tech and Oregon matchup, and curious to see as they open up their playoff experience, what it looks like for Oregon with sort of the opposite of what we're talking about. I guess some fluidity of sorts or some multitasking possibly at play for the Oregon staff.
Yeah. So I don't right now, I think that the latest tally, and maybe it changes between now when I say this and when somebody consumes this show, listens, watches, whatever. I think as of right now, there's 8 playoff teams that have been affected by losing their head coach, a coordinator or two in Oregon's case, or a top position coaches. I think there's 14 different major moves, amongst that group, and it's affected 8 playoff teams. Oregon and Texas A&M, I think, have both lost their 2 coordinators. And do I think that this is going to affect Oregon versus James Madison? Probably not. However, I think at some level, I do think it could affect them on New Year's Day.
First, today's episode brought to you by Rocket Money. Ever feel like your money can disappear each month? It can happen fast. A few subscriptions here, impulse buy there. Suddenly the numbers in your bank account don't match the numbers in your head. Rocket Money helps you get clarity, track every dollar, and stay in control of your finances, because managing your money shouldn't feel like a second job. Rocket Money does the heavy lifting for you so you can save more and stress less. Rocket Money will find subscriptions you forgot you were paying for and help you clean them all up quickly. And seeing all of your spending on one dashboard makes it easier to understand where your money is going. Plus, it's great how Rocket Money automatically builds budgets based on past spending and keeps you on track without overthinking it. And with the app, you're going to find good times to save each month and keep consistent with your financial goals. Take control of your finances and cancel your unwanted subscriptions with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/locked-on today. That's rocketmoney.com/locked-on. rocketmoney.com/locked-on.
At some level, I do think it could affect them on New Year's Day, because Will Stein is now the new head coach at Kentucky. Tosh Lupe is did I say that right? He is the new head coach at Cal, and I think that they've got guys on that staff, that Oregon staff, they're going to take with them. These are the 2 primary play callers. I think one of the guys Will Stein is taking is actually Mac Leftwich's brother. I mean, so how's that for some
go ahead and lay down your sword now, man. You don't need brother on brother.
Yeah, that's right. So I think, because the portal opens January the 2nd. It's a fascinating existence right now when you've got, it's a tough ask to. There's only so many hours in the day. Your next mission is, in your future, is at stake, and yet you're trying to finish a job where you're at, and you can say all the right things. It's a bit tricky, and now and Oregon has to deal with it on both sides of the football. So I think it is just interesting to throw out there, because I don't think that is any kind of advantage for them at all. Especially when multiple staffers are, involved, but especially so when those staffers are taking, this guy or that guy or these guys, whatever, with them. And I don't know. It's just, there's a lot going on there, is all I'm saying. And so it's hard to stay in the here and the now and the be where your feet are, which is completely opposite to the situation I've just described to you about what's going on in Lubbock. It's polar opposites, actually. The only thing that would be more chaotic, of sorts, would be the Ole Miss situation, which it's like, okay, Lane Kiffin left, and then we're going to retain this guy, and then you've got LSU coaches technically working this game, and LSU is actually going to pay Lane Kiffin's bonuses, so Lane Kiffin's rooting for Ole Miss, and it's just a whole weird deal. I just bring that up because I don't know if that is something that a lot of people have talked about, and yet there's most folks out there are think Oregon's going to play Indiana in a rematch in the Rose Bowl.
You want to talk speculation? I'm seeing a lot of speculating that's not in our favor, Chris.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I said Rose Bowl, I meant Peach Bowl, but yeah, that's right. I think most people out there, experts, and now that everybody's kind of digging into this stuff, you're not seeing Texas Tech being given a chance. I've seen fraud. I've seen red zone. I've seen the quarterback's not up to par. I've seen they play in the Big 12. They're just stepping up in weight class. This is a different deal. I mean, I've seen all of it, and I know Joey is probably just like keeps loading the printer and printing everything that is out there just to show all these guys what all the doubt that's out there. But again, you've got continuity, you've got alignment. I think, and you now maybe you throw in a little motivation there too. But because here's one of the things I've seen too. I saw somebody really slight Tech by saying, guys, look at the teams that have made the CFP and look at who had the worst loss of all the teams that made the CFP in their losses. Texas Tech easily losing to Arizona State's the worst loss of anybody in there. Well, I mean, Tulane got blown out by UTSA. Bama got beat by 14 points to Florida State to open up the season. But yeah, you're I don't know. It's I don't know if this is an anti-Big 12 thing or if it's but I've seen that argument made, which is, I don't know, a weird way to come to a conclusion. You had a backup quarterback. You led that game with 2 minutes to go. I don't know. Weird deal. And Arizona State doesn't suck. What do they win? 9 games this year? So anyway, it's just, but yeah, I think you're getting slept on big time. But you have and it may not always be this way. I mean, last year you went at this game and Mac Leftwich was sitting there just kind of as an observer because Zach Kitley left. Sheil Wood wasn't there, and you had a different player calling plays in that game, so you kind of went at it, and it was a bit tricky. It was a bit tricky. And I'm not saying that's why you lost the Liberty Bowl, but it's nice to be in this position, I guess is what I'm saying. And it's a credit to Oregon that Dan Lanning has got people that are being sought after. I mean, that's what you want. And eventually there will come a time when Sheil Wood will say, this experience here was unbelievable for me, but I'm gonna go try to do my own thing, and that's the next step in my career. And that's a matter of time. Same with Coach Leftwich. There's just no doubt. So, but not right now.
I'm all right with them snoozing on us. Night, you will go to sleep, or we will put you to sleep. First, today's episode brought to you by Wayfair, and the holidays always show up faster than we expect. And if you're still putting together gifts or getting your home ready for guests, Wayfair has got you covered. Whether you need a quick room refresher, new bedding, or those final seasonal touches, Wayfair makes it easy to get what you need fast. Wayfair truly is your one-stop shop for everything home, with decor, furniture, kitchen essentials, and gifts for every style and every budget, all delivered quickly and easily. Their selection is massive, making it easy to find everything in one place. And it's perfect for gifting too, with guides, tons of options, and something for everyone and any budget. And of course, no massive delivery fees, no stress, just the best way to get your home holiday ready without running around all over town. So get last minute hosting essentials, gifts for all your loved ones, and decor to celebrate the holidays for way less. Head to wayfair.com right now to shop all things home. That's wayfair.com, WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. I'm all right with them snoozing on us. Night, you will go to sleep, or we will put you to sleep. I'm fine with it. And I think really for the most part, not shocked by it in any way, shape, or form. You will have to go take everything. Texas Tech specifically, just within its existence, has always had to live that life. But as a representative of the Big 12 Conference, Tech or anybody else, they would have to go take everything. So I got no problem with it. I've also seen the other conversation out there from those who I feel like have seen Texas Tech at some point this season, Chris, and some of that conversation has centered around them possibly being the most or one of the most complete teams in the college football playoffs. So you can find a variety of it. I don't know what the scoreboard's going to read. I do feel like, and we've already had this conversation, Texas Tech belongs in the company that they are keeping at this point in time. Whether or not they can get over the hump and get a win and move on to something more interesting, I don't know. But I don't think it's going to be some great revealing of them as frauds or anything along those lines, really. I guess if you never got off the bus, maybe we're thinking about that. I don't anticipate that in any way, shape, or form, but a simple L is not going to send me in that direction. But I've seen the other side of it too, and it's from some of those names you'd know out there on whatever national platforms that have seen Texas Tech at some point this season. And I just think at minimum, they're saying, yeah, you belong again in the company you're keeping. So snooze on them if you want to, but I feel like that's mostly from some who are not only seeing maybe your logo, but also the conference logo, and that's just kind of the casual decision they make.
And I think Oregon has earned some benefit of the doubt,
Sure,
just because they've had some staying power. They've been able to be in these conversations in the last 5 to 15 years, whatever it is, and they've got. And so I think that there's some of that, but they are also very well rounded. I mean, this is a team that is really good on both sides of the ball. They've got draft picks and all that stuff. I'm just wondering aloud, regardless of what everybody says, it's just a bit tricky because the portal and trying to put a staff together and all that stuff, it just, I mean, we've all seen the John Summerall meme out there where he kind of tweeted out like he's like half Tulane, half Gator, whatever. And he's like 2 jobs, 2 phones, 2 hours of sleep. It's just
fired. If I just hired you, you're fired if you do that.
Yeah,
how lame would you be?
I say it all the time. You can't ride 2 horses with one ass. You just can't.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't work. So you can attempt it, but so I'm just offering that up just to see kind of just to bring that up because I think that's an important note to make right there. I think that's something that Oregon's having to sort through. Maybe it doesn't affect them at all. I don't know.
Let's hope it does, and it's a nightmare for them. I'd like to offer up another note and emphasize this before we wrap it up, Chris. James Madison, I hope you're listening. Not even talking about you. Nobody thinks you can win this game. Nobody believes in you. I bet you can't, bet you don't, bet you won't. Are you hearing the lack of respect in this conversation? James Madison, just wanted to touch on that before we get out of here, Chris. Appreciate your time. And looking forward to more convo as we wrap it up with a mailbag edition of the program. We'll see you then. Yes, we will see you then. Enjoy the playoffs this weekend. It'll be fun. We've got another day or so, but continuity and alignment, man, difficult to beat for sure. I'll take it. Shoot them up. If we're talking alignment and drinking game, dangerous show to watch before lunch. Hope it's happy hour when you're taking this one in. Appreciate you for being out there any hour. Thanks to the everydayers. And of course, get subscribed on YouTube or anywhere you get podcasts so you never miss an episode. Hit our show notes to find a link to a free 14-day trial to join the Matador Mob, your direct line to Chris and myself with one-on-one texts sent straight to your phone. For Chris, I'm Casey. Thanks as always for the time. We hope to see you back for the next round on Locked On Texas Tech.